Hello and welcome to the live today. I hope you are all having a wonderful day. I know there's not very many people in here right now. I'll give it just a minute. I do have 4 thumbs up. I hope everybody's having a happy Thursday. Get me a new something to lay out on the table just to have it out here. Something I whipped up last night. Hi, Marcia. I hope you're having a wonderful Thursday. I know I am. And we have our very first mail time. I'm excited because I did get a package from Marcia. They did not put any paper in here. So I'm glad you told me that you sent these. And I am excited about these because I've seen other people use them. I've not used them yet. I usually wind up hand stitching, like hand basting. And these are going to be so cool to help me work on this. I'm going to have to find a little container to put them in. And yesterday I fixed it. I fixed the hat because like the back of this one, the edges were butted up and sewn. So I modified this piece to do the same, which is the next piece that goes up, because it was overlapping and I didn't like the way it looked having this butted up and then one with it overlapped. I didn't think it looked cool. But what we do have to do, excuse me while I get me something to drink. Yes, I will, a little jar or something. We have lots of those kind of things around here. My husband does not throw away his medicine bottles. He saves those for me, and we wash them out in good hot soapy water to get any residue out of them, and then let them dry. And I use those for things. And I also get the honey. So that means I can use that. But these little things are kind of neat. It's just see if I can get it to show. A little sharp pin. And needle. Might actually show better if I put it on something darker. Yeah, shows. And then this piece, and basically you put pieces together and you put it through the holes. And then you basically lock your stitches in. Got to figure out which way they go. Let me see. Oh, these things do let go. Okay. This piece pulls back. You put it in there and it locks it in. So if I put multiple pieces together, I can put these periodically and it will help me keep everything in alignment so I don't have leather flopping all over the place. It's going to get used to, I have to get used to pulling these out to put it together. So this is going to be kind of cool because I am putting 3 layers together. And little part of the hat. Now, big part. I'm doing this part first because with this leather, I don't want to have to flip the hat completely inside out to do this part. And if I sewed the bottom piece on, it would be just really hard to get in here. So I'm going to find about where the center is of this, which is my piping material that I made. And I'll just go over here, and I've determined that this is the center. And if it's not center, it's not off by much. So I will get one of these little babies out. As I've said, I've not used these before, so this is new to me. I will stick it through the hole. I might have to cut out some of this basting that I did. That is normally how I do things to hold things together. And so not having to use a lot of extra thread unnecessarily will be nice. And through this layer. I'm hoping these are long enough for this. This stuff is kind of thick. I might have to hold 2 layers together and still deal with the other layer. Come on, baby. It's always the first one's the hardest one to get through. I can feel it because it's poking my finger. Just I don't know that it's going to give me enough to bite onto. Let's see if I get it through another hole. This is just the one that's the most difficult because I have to keep this right. Because these are my center points, and I don't care to have to count holes again. In the hole. Okay, I think if I take this thread out, and get this piece back up on end. Hi, MZ. Looks like other people came in. Hi, Sandra. I don't know if they make them longer, Marcia. The hardest part for me is I've got to pull up on the end of it. Oh, I think it might have just went on. Ah, nope, did not catch it. I think there's enough there. It's just me getting it where it's pulling up that end enough to catch it. Come on. It's not going to catch it. That is an annoying little thing. What I'm going to do is, until I figure that part out, is I am going to take that one, this one, and this one, and that one, all the way through. And stick a thread in there. I always keep some thread on my needle. And that way I don't lose center point, which is only the singular most important part of this. Because I am mental and everything must be lined up. I can't have it even one hole off. Let me see if I do it elsewhere. I'm going to try it one more time. And I think it's just that there's so many layers, because it's 2 layers here, 2 layers of this, plus this, and then there's 2 layers of the green, one here and one here. I did cut back the green from, so the green only comes to this edge. It doesn't fold over. I'd cut that back because I knew it was going to be too thick to work with otherwise. I really wanted to be able to use these today. We just usually don't work with this thick of a leather. It will work on the other parts. So actually, let's, if I were doing 2 regular layers, you can, it comes through a lot better. So on 2 regular layers, it works fine, which is actually 2 layers of the rainbow plus 2 layers of the green. It works just fine. It's those other layers of the extra layer of rainbow plus these 2 layers that's giving it trouble, I think, because that is a lot of leather to work with. Now I'm going to have to find out if there's extra long ones of these. Yeah, that's not going to work on this part. Even the things I was using that I was trying to use to do this wouldn't have worked. They would have been terribly short because they're even shorter than these. So I'll just keep this one holding this together. And once I start stitching and stitch halfway around, I'll be good. Oh, I have an empty container right here. It's a drink mix container. And I'm going to set these on my sewing machine so that they don't get knocked over. But oh, there's two different sizes. Let me go look at that then. I didn't realize there were two different sizes. Let me see. You flip over right here because you're a good holder of things. That's a long one. Thank you, Marcia. Now I'm going to just have to open all these up. Not unless the ones that are longer are these. Yeah. Sweet. Thank you, Marcia, for being smart. The long ones stick out on this edge compared to the shorter ones. So I can sort them easily without having to open them all. So I'll sort these real quick. Let me see, I threw one in there. So I have 12 long ones. Yay. I need to get a magnet tray. But that's okay because this tape will hold them right here until I get them where I need them to be. Yeah, I have those the honeycomber, the glass jars I get from the honey. And so I think I might just take 2 of those and designate them as longs and shorts. Now we're going to try this again. We're going to go through this layer, which is actually 2 layers. And that one. Oh, my fingers are not participating today. Force those pieces to line up. I use my sewing needles for a lot of things. That one. And then that one. Yeah, I've got a lot of. Oh, yeah. Big difference there. Ta-da. And so that holds that in place. And then I can go out about 10 holes or so. I'm going to open a couple of these. And they are pretty sharp, so I won't be stabbing myself with them, hopefully. Mm. That's right. Well, I guess I should release it when it's on there. Let's see, when I'm stitching it, that'll hold that together and just make it easier for me. Yay. Yes, I get excited when I get success. I actually make hooray noises for myself here at the house because, yeah, that's what I do. It's really good when I do something major that I've been working on and I scream out, and then other people in the house come down to see if I'm okay. But that piping is just going to hang out the edge there. Marcia, I cannot thank you enough for these, because that means I don't have to keep counting holes and having stuff flipping and flopping around. Okay, let me see if I can adjust that. Well, oh no, wrong way. You got a close up there. Uh, I'd actually zoomed the camera a little bit. I was trying to hide a little bit of my messy work area, but I have all my weights sitting over here. I was working on some stuff last night that I needed my weights for. So I buy these little weights, and I can take them off and use them. And I've got them in different sizes. I've got these smaller containers. I got 4 of these, and I have 2 sets of bigger ones that are heavier. And I smashed my finger. Flutter, flutter, hi, flutter. Just to tease Flutter a little bit. Now he's our resident hanging out. It was well, you need to get my email address down there, and you need to send me your address, because Butterfly needs a new home. Yeah, that works too. Oh, these are gonna be so cool. Marcia gave me my first mail time. And such a cool thing it is. These nifty little clippy things I'm using. They sell these, and it's somewhat like a stick pin. This part pulls out a little bit, but it has a needle. And so you can use it. You put it in your sewing in holes and you mark it as you go. And it holds the holes, it holds the stuff in place. So when I'm hand stitching it, I'm not having all this flopping around all the time. It'll be held in place like this. So when I'm turning it, all of this will be, it'll either be stitched or it'll be held in place by these. And I think those are so cool. No, I did not yell out mail time. I am not yelling. Marcia was here. I was not breaking Marcia's ears. I have an extremely loud voice, and nobody should be subjected to me screaming. And these are really tight because they've not been used before. This is cool. It's cool, cool, cool. Yeah, actually, I can be louder than Robbie. I choose not to be louder than Robbie. My mission when I was a kid was to yell louder than the train whistles could blow. And I was successful. I could yell, and the people on the other side of the tracks could hear me. There will not be a demonstration of that because I don't want to scare the people in the house. They've never heard me yell that way. Catch some on this other side. And I am flipping this piece. So the only stitch line you will see is at the top here. Everything else will be hidden with that black piping peeking out underneath the top. And did I see there Terry came in? Hi, Terry. Yeah, we lived half block off from the railroad tracks. And I had a cousin who lived just on the other side of the railroad tracks. And so, yeah, I would yell and to let her know that I was waiting for her. If I was supposed to be going over there and a train decided to come while I was walking over, I would just yell at her to let her know I'm here. Oh, I can't see. My eyes are getting old. That does not feel right. One of these is off. And 10. That is 10. Oh, I just pulled that one off. Do not pull on them with force. They will come apart. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That feels better. Oh shoot, that one came off. I did not put the other line back on. But because I'm going every 10th one, it makes it easier for me to find out where this was. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, that does not feel right. It feels like it's supposed to be. There. Okay, I cannot put pressure on these. That sucks. Unless there's some way I'm supposed to secure these on and I'm missing. Oh, that one's still in. Yeah, I think I should do that and stab myself. Mhm. That is 10. Let me double check this back side, make sure I did go 10. Yes, I did. Okay. It's just that there's so much of this. I'm going to have to hammer the heck out of this when I get this on, get it stitched. Feels more secure. Can you imagine trying to hand stitch it and align all these pieces together? I have not looked up the prices of Uber lights. But we should do that for you. And I've not tried to look up a bag. I mean, I haven't looked up buying them by the pound. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, this is going to be fun when I get stitching, but that's okay. Yeah, my sewing needles are about as blunt as they get, but I can still stab myself and have. These little suckers are sharp. They will have no mercy on my fingers. Lisa and Kendra might know about the price of Uber lights by the pound. 1 hole, 2 holes. Bet you all didn't know the neat, wonderful, fun stuff I get to do when I make things. Counting holes. Okay, Marcia. Enjoy your den. The only thing I can see is they made these a little difficult because trying to pull this out when you're one-handing it is not easy. Maybe if they loosen up a little bit over time, it'll be easier. Are you going to do agates also, Flutter? Oh, where's my little flashlight, dude? Oh, there he is. If I can use him to help me a little bit over here. Let me see. I'm going to do this one. That one's hard to see. Focus light. No, I think you should do some of them raw. Because if someone wants to tumble them themselves, because like I have the grandkids, and so I might let each one of them set up a batch to tumble. I mean, it'll take forever because one has to tumble and then the other one has to tumble, but still, it would give them their own process to do. Awesome. I know there's people that sell raw on Etsy. They sell raw rocks to tumble yourself. You know, if you have the time and the energy to do it, it's a way to make some money. And if I had an agate beach around here, don't think that I wouldn't be out there on the weekends digging up rocks and selling them. I'd have the grandkids out there. We'd have a little agate business. I'd hook the grandkids up with a little business. Let them tumble some to sell as tumbled and do some as raw. And if they're tumbled, then they cost more money. Well, this is good for me to figure out that I only need 12 of these to go around this hat. So I got do that one that would balance to this one. Okay. I can make it work. Oh, I want to see some of those. Sweet. Are the Lake Superior rocks somewhat like the Shivalingams? They kind of get polished as due to the rivers. Why is it being so difficult? That one's off the one. Huh. I mean, as far as shining themselves. That's kind of cool, though. Predominantly polished by nature. I forgot to turn my little heater on down by my feet. That is right. That just didn't look right. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8, 9, 10. Tori can count to 10. That's our lesson for today. Tori can count to 10 12 times. Times 3. 36 times. But she can't find the hole. Not with her left hand, at least. Nope. Absolutely cannot find the hole with my left hand. That's cool. And I'm going to leave this extra until I get back here to finish off this back side. And I think I'm going to leave this in here. Yeah, Marcia, that's my problem. Oh, look, it's amethyst. Oh, look, it's dark purple amethyst. Oh, it's light purple amethyst. Oh, look, that's a gray purple amethyst. That's a true gray amethyst. Oh, look, black amethyst, pink amethyst, dark pink amethyst, light pink amethyst. Oh, look, that's amethyst and citrine together. So it's ametrine. Yay, I need to have all of them. Oh, look, this one's big. That one's little. Oh, mine doesn't look quite like that one. Oh, and then there's the grape amethyst. Yes. And then fluorite. All the different colors of fluorite and all the different shapes that go in there. Yeah. All the things. I'm going to make my threads a little longer than normal for this because it's so many layers. And I use these to help me measure. Okay, I need about that much is one length. Two lengths. And 2 plus 2 is 4. Plus some. I mean, I use all the extra threads when I have all those pieces left. I use them for all kinds of things. And now that hat starts to take shape. You can see this will curve. It'll curve down just a little bit here in the front and in the back. The sides will be able to be tucked and rolled. I'm going to run this thread through my fingers, through my fingernails, and take off some of this wax because otherwise it leaves huge chunks of wax as I stitch. I mean, this one I think you can probably see the wax on the thread. Like right here, you can see all that white wax on the thread. See, Flutter, you need to be in the rock business, baby. We know people that buy that kind of stuff. Oh, wait, we are the people that buy that kind of stuff. And oh, Lord, if you find the absolutely unusual. Marshall beat me up to get it. Not really. She really doesn't beat me up. Sometimes I beat her at getting something. Sometimes she beats me at getting something. And we've actually talked about it and we're not mad about it. So I had someone ask me if it makes me mad when someone beats me out on something. I said, mad? No. Because I'm a grown up. I'm a big girl. And I don't get mad because someone had faster fingers than me. And all I'm doing is I have my thumbnail there and I'm just pulling this through. And then I wind up with this chunk of wax under my fingers, under my fingernail. And I repeat that a few times. See, doing it the second time, I get just as much. Third time, not as much. Still got some under my nail. I can feel it. Yeah. So now the thread looks black. You can still see some wax on there, and there is still wax on there. I could actually pull more off if I tried. Yeah, I still have them on my wish list, Marcia. Um, when I get into doing some of the big projects, some of the bigger bags, I would absolutely need more of them to be able to do the whole bag. If I were doing like the pirate hat, these seams that sew the two pieces of the pirate hat together are they're big. I keep sitting on the edges of this jacket, so I'm going to zip this jacket up. I don't have the basement heater on. We don't keep it heated full time because there's only two people that come down here in the evenings, and there's no reason to keep it heated. We keep it above freezing, um, just so that water doesn't freeze. But other than that, we don't keep it warmed up down here. Okay, I'm going to read before I go any further. Oh, the rock shed. Yes, throw the kayak out of the way. Rocks rule. Except Flutter thinks her kayak rules when it's fishing time. A scrap of green. Oh, I need twice as much. No, I'm not going to double. I don't think I have to double this. Oh, I can't see the hole. Did I turn the flashlight off? No, I did not. When I get it, my workspace rearranged down here, I'll have to give you a tour of my little corner. I think I'm going to have to rearrange some stuff and take over more of the basement. What I need to do is get the shelves put up in the other part of the basement. Oh, Lord, I cannot see. Getting these things started is the hardest. After all that work, I'll take the first one out. I want to see something. I know I have a piece of the magnet over here. Oh, I know where I have a magnet. Hold on just a minute. I'm going to go grab a magnet. I'm guessing these are magnetic. I should check. No, they're not. Well, I don't have to worry about getting a magnet for them then. That's bites. I try to not throw my arms across in front of the camera. I have a tendency to do that. No, it is not. Someone wanted it there's a person that wears rainbow stuff. And they're doing a costuming thing, and so this was something very specific for them. Um, to go with something. So I'm hoping they enjoy it, love it, and wear it a lot. Yeah, Marcia, when you get something that I really want, that's what it is. Disappointed that I didn't get it, but not mad at you for getting it. Have I been mad at someone getting something before? Absolutely, because I knew the only reason why they were getting it is because I wanted it. Yeah, and since you missed the beginning, these little clippy doodle things, I use technical terms for things. These are really cool. They're stitch holders so that you can lay it out. So now I don't have to fight with the leather flopping all over the place. Marcia sent me 2 sets of these. There's 12 in each set. There's 6 long ones and 6 shorter ones. If you pull out the right ones, they'll actually fit. Unlike I did in the beginning, I pulled out one of the short ones trying to shove it through all these layers, and it absolutely would not fit. But this is one of the best things, and it is the absolute first mail time my channel has had. So Marcia gave me my first mail time. Marcia, you were my first. Do not pierce needles. This is going to be a tedious one to sew. And the only reason, the first part of it's hard because you don't want to pull the threads the wrong way and mess it up. And I guess I'm going this way now. It's still a pain making sure you find the next hole, but I shorten this up a little bit. See, when I'm here by myself, I pass stuff across all the time because nobody's watching. But I'm trying to avoid doing that when I have people watching because nobody wants to look at the sleeve of my red sweatshirt that I bought for keeping down here in the basement for when I'm down here sewing. Of course, people probably don't want to look at my vape either. And you absolutely cannot see is what I'm doing is, let's see if I can turn this so you can see it. I can see where that thread came through here. And so I'm putting my needle back through the same hole, but I'm holding my thread down so that I don't pierce through the thread. I can't hold it up where you can see it because you can't see at that angle. And part of it is feeling for me. So it's part eyes and part feeling. Well, that one is so, I got to right-handed. I can't do it left-handed. Absolutely cannot sew left-handed very well. I am ambidextrous in some ways and not in others. Once I get these stitches going, it'll be easier. They usually get to a point where it's like, oh yeah, this is what you're doing. Okay, I'll behave. And the leather quits fighting me. Skipped a hole. And you may be able to see that. I'd put it in the hole next to it. It's almost like I need to get a little spy cam to put in there, or a little head cam. In this one, I will pull it probably every stitch or every other stitch. Okay, I'm going to go read real quick. Hi, Allie. Hi, Britta. Or someone said Britta's here. Oh, yeah, there she is. Hi, Britta. Fluorite roses. Because you can get them in purples and greens. It also depends on the budget. And if you want to get them something they can wear or something they can display at home, that kind of stuff depends on what kind of stuff you look at as well. But I always think fluorite roses are good for a group because each one is different, but they're the same. My husband um, was a stand-in dad for a girl we knew that was getting married. Her family is toxic, and so she was getting married, and she made a comment that she really needed someone to give her away, and she's close to my daughter's age, so she's young, and but we had a lot of mutual friends, older than her, younger than us, kind of thing, and you know, Jeff was always supportive and helpful and stuff like that. So one day she asked him, she says, you give that fatherly advice whether I want it or not. So would you be willing to give me away at my wedding? And so he did, and they gave all the guys, the groomsmen, the best man, and he, as the stand-in dad, got a pocket knife with their name engraved on it. Oh, for the guest. Oh, so like they do now. I have seen people give dice where, but it's hard to get the engrave. You got to go really tiny with the engraving. There's a website. If you poke me, I'll remember to get it and get it to you. They do playing cards for fairly inexpensive that you can get a deck of playing cards where you can put the wedding information on them, but they have all kinds of stuff. I've bought cards for them for an event. Well, this wasn't for the general population. This was for specific people. I've also seen it where a group of them, they were all cigar smokers, and they gave custom lighters to the groomsmen, the and the best man. Yeah, big difference between doing 100 or 500. I've seen little dispensers of bubbles. Yeah. One of Jeff's sons, because the family is a group of, they're all gamers. They did dice, which was kind of cool. Stitch, stitch, stitch. I'll have to shape the hat when I finish it. Pull those threads snug. Tell you, it is harder to do this while filming than what it is when I'm not filming. If I'm not filming, this would be basically up on my chest almost, while I'm stitching it, real close to me. But I also like sharing what I do with other people. So I think I'm going to leave this extra leather in there. I don't think I'm going to cut it out. You can see how it's starting to take shape. It's nice. This is the part that I've stitched. It'll be nice and snug. And that little black line in there sets it out. Kind of like here I am. I've made them both with and without piping. Oh, that's cute, Sandra. See, when you were talking about favors, I thought you were talking about like the bridesmaids and the matron of honor. And that's why I said fluorite roses. Hi, Stacy. Good to see you. I do have to watch the clock because I do have to have that hard stop at 9 o'clock so that I can go stretch my legs, get my drink, get a snack or whatever, because Two Leads in a Pod will be coming on tonight. And I will be popping over to their channel. See if Lisa has any other cool and unusual stuff that I feel I need. She's the best and the worst. There's times I've emailed her of, hey, have you seen this before? Oh, I did that with chocolate calcite. Hi, Monica. I sent her a message and was like, hey, have you seen this stuff before? And the next thing I know, she's sending me pictures of spheres, and I'm like, I need that one. And I circle it in the picture and send it back to her. And she's like, well, I guess I'm making an order with this guy then. I guess I'm ordering some of these. And she ordered the chocolate calcite. But I'll see stuff, and I ask her because sometimes you're browsing the internet and someone posts something. It's like, yeah, but is this real? So I go to Lisa to find out if it's a real stone or if it's something someone made up. And if she buys something because of me asking, I'm definitely going to get it from her. Yay, I made it to the first 10 stitches. Little accomplishments in life. I do not steam leather because it can alter it. And I also do not know how. I'm not familiar with the process of this foil that's on here. And I wouldn't want to mess that up. Oh, my thumb's hurting me today. Oh, well, flashlight's in the floor now. I won't be using that now. But actually, when I sew it, because of the shape of the pieces, it'll take shape a lot as I go. It'll automatically round out really well. But leather, for the most part, if you dampen it, not saturate, but dampen it, you can also put it the way you want it and let it dry, and it'll hold its shape. Yeah, MZ, I've actually wound up with some stuff from Lisa from doing that, because obviously, if I'm sorry if my face just got in the camera, if I ask her about a stone and she goes and she buys some of it, I am absolutely going to buy some from her. And it's because if I'm asking her about it, it's something I want. I never ask her about something I don't want. The other one I did was that what is it, calico pyrite or whatever it was, the really colorful stuff that had a lot of the purples and the teals in it. That was another one that I was like, hey, Lisa. And she told me, she says, anytime you see something you want, I'll show it to me and I'll see if I can get it. I've got a thread caught somewhere. That is my stitch line that is caught somewhere, which means that one didn't get pulled through all the way. Try that again. Well, I talked to Robbie today and he told me that Marcia and I are just going to kill him. He's going to be in trouble if Marcia and I are ever showing up there at the same time. I tried to tell him he's not supposed to put any of that new stuff out until I get my tax check. Yeah. Haha, Monica, I can't remember the last time Robbie mailed me a package. He has a tendency to hold mine until he holds them hostage so that I'll come down to Florida. I usually pick mine up twice a year. But I actually use I have my accounts set up on with the mail and everything so that I can get tracking easily. And then I use an app called Shop, and I've linked all my accounts. So I do, Marcia. But I get notification in there. Robbie got me these cool headpieces, and it is tall. That has wood inside. And so I think I can use these to help shape it some once I'll dampen it and shape it around one of these. I have a couple of them in different sizes, so we'll see what fits. And I have other heads here as well. I have wig heads in multiple sizes. I have wig heads and I do not have wigs. Okay, let me see. That is speedy. Allie, you got lucky. What it was is that they probably gather up enough packages before they throw them on an airplane, and you were like right there at the right time. But I just use the shop app and it notifies me anytime someone creates a label. So even if they create the label and they haven't shipped it yet, so it has not been scanned by the post office, but the label was created, I get notification that the label was created. And I'm good with that. But I use it because I signed in, I've linked up my regular postal mail, UPS, FedEx, and Amazon. So I almost always know when packages are coming to the house. And it even lets me know when things are scanned as delivered. I'll get a notification from the app that says your package was delivered. At which point I scream at someone to go run outside. And Monica, you're in the continental United States, aren't you? I do not know why my left hand cannot feel the same as my right does. Right hand, I can get it right in. There's definitely a trade-off with using the smaller holes and not being able to use my two needles at the same time. This is one of those times. Because normally once I get one through the holes correctly, I use it as a guide for the second needle. Which, since I started using the smaller holes, is not the case. I just can't find the needles that will hold the right size thread and be a small enough needle, because normally I would, like I have this one where the needle's showing through, I would put the other needle right next to it on top of it and then push it through the hole. And then I would have two needles to pull out at the same time. Double needle stitching like that is nice because you're positive you're never going to puncture through the thread when you're stitching. and it is a little quicker for stitching. So, there are the ups for it. But for me, in order to stitch with needles that'll hold my thread, the size thread I'm using, and the whole point of me going down a size in the holes and continuing to use the same size thread is so that the thread would better fill the holes. So, because I've had people say, well, just drop to a smaller thread. Well, then I have the same problem as I had before, where the thread is not filling the hole completely. So I'll take the trade-off. I choose to have the holes better filled with the thread over double needle stitching. I'm laughing at Monica's package going and taking a vacay in California. I had a package one time. I have no clue how it was sent. All I know is it came into Georgia and was less than an hour from my house 4 times before they actually delivered it. So it came into Georgia and then it left. Then it came back to Georgia and left again. And it kept leaving the state. And I inquired about it and they go, oh, well, it's just the way it was shipped. And I'm like, you guys are less than an hour from my house. Just leave it and I'll come get it. And they told me they couldn't do that. I have not shipped out of the country yet. Well, I have for gifts. I have sent someone a gift before. I don't know if they had to pay anything. That one went in good. Monica has well-traveled rocks. They going off and having parties at Kendra's or something. Going out to Cali. Okay, go through this layer. Normally in the front of the hat, I would stitch in a stiffener, but with this leather, I'm not putting a stiffener in this one. This one I think is stiff enough. Yeah, I've double stitched things before to hide the holes. Oh, I did that in the back of this hat because I just didn't like the way it looked. Now let me see if I can hold that hole still. Does it stay lined up? No, of course not. That last piece always wants to give me a hard time. I don't know why I put it in my left hand. I know I cannot do it that way. It wanted me to kiss it or something. I don't know. Had to bring it closer to me, which is where I normally sew. So yeah, this has a nice stiff edge. That's why, because this bottom piece has that green liner on it. Originally it was like this, but when I folded it over, it was so thick. It was like, I can't, no way. I can't stitch this edge if both of these are that thick. So I cut back halfway back on the stitch line. I cut back the green liner so that this would fold over that easier. I hated doing it after I'd had it glued, but it was like, that's okay. Could be worse. And it's still being stitched. The green layer is still being stitched once because it is sandwiched between there. It'll hold. See, sometimes it goes through so easy. Other times it wants to fight me. Fingers are still tore up. I have to I need to pull out my wax pot and soak my hands and get them healed up. and go get my nails fixed up and made pretty again. I think I'm gonna like it with the piping edge on it. I just hope they do. Both the person that bought it as the gift and the person that receives it as the gift. That edge in there. Okay. Hi, Rosie. I hope you're feeling good, feeling better. Okay, let me just see. Yeah, Rosie's sweet child, sweet daughter, decided to get Rosie sick. Because if you live in a house with people, you're going to get sick. That's what they do. They pass it around. That's how I still don't understand how Topher and I never got COVID at Christmas. Um, 5 people in the house, 3 of them get COVID. And he was at the event where they were exposed. And he tested multiple times and tested negative. I tested multiple times and tested negative. Because one of the things is before we left here, uh, we all tested because I said nobody was leaving this house to go to Florida until they've tested positive less than 24 hours before we were heading out. So it was technically early Wednesday morning when we all tested. And we left out on Wednesday. So day of, we all tested negative. Of course, we had been isolating since the first person found out since Lily found out they were exposed. We didn't leave the house except for them to go do their initial testing. The mom is always the one that gets sick, more so whoever it is that takes care of the kids the most. In Rosie's situation where the husband works and Rosie's at home, I'm going to guess that Rosie is the one that takes care of the kids more, especially when they're sick. Rosie is the one that gets exposed to it all the time. Whereas with David being the one that works outside of the home, he should be the one avoiding the children. Stay away from the children. They are sick. Unless he has a lot of sick days and just wants to be able to take off work too. That is going to be an interesting top. Let me see this. It's stitched from here to here. Looks good. Drink some more coffee. I made Flutter a Flutter by. It's 2 layers, front and back. So no matter which way she looks at it, if they fold up some, it's okay. You can give it some shape. Flutter needs a pretty butterfly, and I put it on a ring so Flutter can hang it on the wall, put it on something and hang it in the truck, stick it to the keys, whatever makes Flutter happy. Oh, my thumb is hurting right here. I have to go back to the orthopedic doctor and tell them that the stupid brace they gave me doesn't work because I can't work. They gave me a brace. They know what I do for a living. They know I work on the computer for a living. And they gave me a brace that makes it impossible for me to be able to type. So it's like, yeah, that absolutely does not work for me. I absolutely cannot do my job wearing a brace that makes it impossible for me to type. I think when I get more to the sides and to the back, I'll be able to show the stitching easier. Don't get fish guts on it. Don't want it to be a smelly butterfly. Actually, if you take it fishing with you, that's up to you. If you get fish guts on it, I can tell you how to clean it. If it smells like fish, I don't know that we can get all the smell out of it, though. Now you can see easier how you can see it coming through. And I'm going to do this, see if I can do this upside down. And so it goes through that layer. I don't know if you can see the needle in here. And then I push it through both of those. And then I come down here and I find my little hole in here. And it comes through that layer. And then you catch a butterfly with it. You see, I'm nice to people. When they get sick in this house, I tell them to get the heck away from me. I'm like, you keep it to yourself. We have enough space in this house that nobody has to be on top of anyone else getting them sick. My daughter was thrilled. I told her she had to wear a mask walking through my house. I'm like, nah, chicka, you got the vid, the COVID. Had Ollie and Jeff not had COVID, I probably would have contacted Lisa about all of us coming with us not having hot water. But they were both still testing positive when I left to head to Florida. I just didn't want to bring it down there and get Lisa and Gabe sick. I mean, when I got there, Gabe wasn't feeling 100% as it was, but if we would have went down there with COVID, he would have wound up with COVID, especially if he was already sick, which means his immune system was low at that point that we would have put him out of work for a while, and then I would have felt like dirt. Because that's always my fears is not so much me getting sick, it's getting someone else sick. Marcia, you better start knocking on some wood. It is not something to play with. But the first time my daughter got it was worse than the second time she got it. The second time she got it, she was having the same symptoms I had with my allergies. And I knew mine was allergies because I hadn't been around anybody in a month. I hadn't left the house in a month. And something in my yard started blooming and my allergies started acting up. Yeah, did you turn the phone off and reboot the phone? My daughter knocks on her head. First time my daughter got it, she lost all sense of smell and taste. And she felt like death by her definition. Why is this little piece being a pain in the bottom side? Yeah, we figure that Topher didn't get it because he's like the germ boy. He gets exposed to germs all the time, and that maybe he's been exposed enough to enough stuff that it prevented him from getting it. I think when I reset up this space, I'm going to set up 2 cameras. Which might make it easier for people to see what I'm doing. Yeah, that's Sandra. That's about how my daughter was. I'm just glad she wasn't home when she got sick. She was actually staying with a friend because they lived closer to her work. And so she would stay there on the days that she worked, and she would come home on her days off. And luckily for us, when she did get COVID, it was in the middle of her work schedule. And so she did not come home and bring it to us. She isolated because both of them wound up with it, which makes sense. Um, but both of them ended up with it, and so they just isolated together. But we avoided. I mean, I have not officially had COVID. I've had what I think is COVID, but not sure because had not tested because I wouldn't leave the house once I got sick. Jeff got COVID. This was the first time Jeff had gotten COVID, and he didn't have a lot of symptoms either. He's like, I don't feel right. I feel crappy, and so he went ahead and tested positive. Oh yeah, good shape. And it's amazing living here in Georgia, and that we hadn't had it before because we have a lot of people here that don't even think it's real. They Even with all the deaths, they think it's totally fake. So they don't take any kind of precautions. They will go out sick. They will cough in your face. They really just don't care. Okay. Take a shower, get all freshened up. I will be on until 9. I didn't see if Lisa had hers set up yet or what time she has it set up for. Got it twice, but thinks it's fake. Yeah, that's how it is here in Georgia. I mean, they had someone who died from COVID, and so they had a funeral service, and a bunch of people went to it, and everybody got COVID, and a bunch of them died from COVID related. Yeah, that's crappy. And see, Marsha, you're one of the people that I wouldn't want to be around. You're one of the people that you're the type of person I wouldn't want to get you sick. So that is my biggest fear, is getting someone like you who can't even take antibiotics, getting you sick. That's my fear of getting COVID, getting someone else sick. Had a guy who used to live down the street. If I would have gotten it and gotten sick and got him sick, it would have killed him. And they ended up selling their house to move into a smaller place closer to kids and all, because he was not doing well. He was up in age and not doing well. And so they made the decision to sell the bigger house and move into a much smaller place, because they really didn't need a 4-bedroom house for 2 people. My grandson says he gets dirty. That's how he boosts his immune system. Topher. Yeah, it starts taking shape pretty good. And it'll just, because of the shape of the pieces, it forces it to take shape. And once I finish sewing this, before I get done, I'll go in and I'll stitch my label in. I'll stitch it in right here. And so it'll be sitting off to the side. And that way, when they're wearing the hat, it won't be rubbing on the head. Keep dropping things. Drop my little tubes of glue. Okay. If I do not finish stitching this before 9 o'clock, I will finish stitching this before the next live. I will get all the way around this and get the last piece set ready to go. The next stitch line is the last stitch line, and that's stitching this piece to this piece. And then it'll be a hat. Yeah, my daughter has decided that she must leave the house at minimum of once a week to be exposed to people and their germs, to start building up her immune system, because that's why every time she's exposed to anything, she gets sick because she doesn't leave the house. She refers to herself as my basement troll. And she absolutely does not like being around people for the most part. But after seeing how her and her son were exposed at the same time, he drank after her out of her cup. She got sick and he did not. So she decided that there's something to being exposed to germs that she might want to look into, getting some exposure to some germs so she can quit getting sick all the time. And when I get her to go out, she tells her friends, because she games, she tells her people that she's going out. My mom's making me go out to get my weekly germ exposure. Oh yeah, we'd be interested in anything she might be able to take to boost her immune system. The dragonfly, hold on, I got a pattern sitting right here. The dragonfly wings are a lot smaller, and the body is this long because this part gets folded under. That's where you put the key ring loop here, because it looks like that. So you're looking at it's about 3, almost 4 inches. And I have no idea how big these are because I made this one up myself. So it's not quite as tall as the butterfly is. The body is the main part. And it's a little bit smaller than this. And because of the size of the wings and how much leather it would use, which isn't a whole lot, I can do the dragonflies for 10. Inside the continental US, because that would get shipped. There we go. That one was nice and easy. It's just this part up here that wants to be difficult. I'd gotten the pattern for the dragonfly. Someone I get the patterns from all the time. He sends out free patterns. And so he had sent it out as one of those learning how to do things patterns. And I was like, hey, I can use this. And so I stole the concept of it to make the butterfly. And then I came up with 2 different butterfly designs. Oh, the patterns, I have them digital, so I can print off as many copies as I want. I only do digital patterns. Even ones that I do myself, I make sure that I can digitize them, because I do not have my file cabinet set up to store them. And also, I'm really hard on patterns. And, it's like my hat patterns. this hat comes, I have the pattern for this hat in so many different sizes. I would hate to have the paper copies of the pattern for all the different sizes. Um, and with all the patterns that I have, there's no, I wouldn't want to keep up with them. They have people that will take their patterns and put them on a hard, well, basically that cutting board type stuff. Those flimsy cutting boards, the ones you can roll up, people will use those and to make their patterns out of and just reuse them. And it's like, yeah, but then you have to store them. I use leather, Monica, and it depends what leather you wanted. I have like over 1,000 square feet of leather, so it's like, tell me what colors you want. What color do you want the body? What color do you want the wings? Do you want the wings 2 different colors? Because I probably have what is needed to do them. As long as you don't want exotics, because I do not keep exotics on hand, except for my own personal stash that I use for me. It just so happened the butterfly, I wanted to try to see how it would look to make a rainbow butterfly. And so I just used the exact same stuff I'm using for this. I used this green for the body of the butterfly because it just looked good. I usually make my butterflies 2 different layers and 2 different colors. And sometimes if it wouldn't have been for the design of the leather, if it was just a plain color, I could have cut shapes into it and used 2 different colors so that the back color would show through. Yeah. Yep, just use the email that's rolling on the screen. The Tori.Jones.leatherworks@gmail. I try to keep all of my stuff in there. And I was able to add that email address to my PayPal, which is kind of cool. And if you try to pay me with PayPal, you'll probably see my legal name. I'm not ashamed of my legal name. I just do not use it on the internet because the nature of my work, they kind of like pay attention to everything you do on the internet. And I don't need them in my business. I don't do anything illegal, but I don't need people monitoring everything I do. And why are you taking trips to Florida to visit the guy that owns a farm in Alligator? I don't need anyone at work asking me those questions. It's none of their business. So I've used an internet name. I've used the name I use. I've used it since the first time I got on the internet. And if you think about when the internet first came out, there was the big thing about never use your real name on the internet. Don't give anyone any information about where you live and all that kind of stuff. And I've used this name ever since. The butterflies are 20. No, the bodies of these aren't stuffed. It's the way they're stitched. So it's actually, let's see if I can find. It's actually, well, you can't. It's folded onto itself, and so it's almost like a tube in there. But the nature of how you this is folded over, and then there's a layer of leather in there, and it just makes it where it makes the body stick up and stick out. It's a combination of the leather and the stitching that makes that do that. The dragonflies just use a lot less leather. Yeah. Nope. There we didn't go. In the hole, mister. That hole is being difficult. And I know it's cut through. There it goes. You're welcome, Marcia. And there's a lot of times when I like if I were making someone a purse, and I knew they liked butterflies, I would probably take some of the scraps and make them a butterfly with it, or a dragonfly, or something like that, or a cat face, or just one of the different ones. I haven't made all of the little bag charms that I have patterns for. I collect patterns. If people are giving them away for free, I grab patterns. Some of the more complex stuff, obviously, I buy the patterns, but if people are giving away patterns, I grab them. Even if it's not something I think it's like, oh, well, I probably won't use that. I mean, I might have someone that wants me to make them a Cthulhu keychain. I have a Cthulhu head. I have an alien. No, it's a predator. The predator head and the Cthulhu head. A cat face. A dog. A dragon head. A horse, which can also be a unicorn. Just regular keychains with no specific shape. Because I also have that style butterfly, and I put this one on top of that one. And then I have keychains like this. This one goes inside. This one goes inside, and you fold it in half and put the keychain there, so it creates a 3D effect, because the centerpiece would be raised up more, then this is raised up more, and then this is laid down flat. So it gives it that 3D raised effect. And I think that's the only ones I printed off. And I've got the turtle that I made Sue. I try to keep some patterns like that handy, so when if I'm on watching Lisa's live, and I'll sit here and make something small if I'm not already working on a bigger project. I gotta look at my rose and see how it came out. Ouch. Last night I made a rose, or I attempted to make a rose. I have no clue what it looks like yet. I don't know if it kept the shape or not. I've kind of got it tied up right this moment to force it to, hopefully force it to take shape. See, I've just wrapped strings around it. Okay, it did dry. So now I just got to make these petals shape. They're supposed to turn down. So I'll have to clip these with some of these clips to shape them that way, and do that all the way around them, and then do it to all these different petals. I'll mist the back of them with a little bit of water and fold them down to get it to take shape, and then I'll have a somewhat of a rose. I can see you, Lisa Lee. Marsha, hi. I have actually worked with leather during Robbie's live. What I do is I will type the word claim in the chat, or type the word claim in the chat box, and then sit here and play with my stuff. And while he's showing stuff, and if he starts showing stuff that I know I'm going to be interested in, I stop what I'm doing and wait to see if I'm going to claim it. I'm missing a hole. There it is. There we go. So yes, I have absolutely been on Robbie's live making leather stuff. Heck, when I was in Florida, staying at Lisa's the last time, during Robbie's live, I was sitting there sewing these, one of his knife cases. Sheath. He had a nice sheath and it had some stitching that had gotten messed up. So I ran out to the store and bought what I needed. And sat over there during the live stitching the sheath for Z. I have ADHD. If I am just watching his live and I'm not actively chatting, claiming, and stuff, I will fall asleep. I cannot do just one thing. So I have to be doing two things in order to get by and stay awake. It's a nature of the beast of my ADHD. Either I'm going it or I'm going to sleep. Topher is the same way. He's more vocal about it. He'll go, well, I'll sit here. I'm going to get bored and I'm just going to go to sleep now. So mine goes from one extreme to the other. Either I'm, okay, I've now looped my thread around the hat. Either I stay busy or I go to sleep. And that's what makes having meetings, the meetings that they give us at work, My responsibility is to sit there and listen to someone rattle their mouth. And it's not about something that I'm actually working on, so I'm not taking notes or anything. Yeah, I go to sleep during meetings. Lisa, did you see my cool things that Marcia got me? They little place markers so I can put my piece together every few stitches. So when I'm working with it, I don't have large pieces of leather flopping all over the place. Holds them in place. Marcia is the first person to contribute to mail time. But I did not yell mail time, nor will I ever yell mail time. Yeah, Marcia, they put me in a meeting and they do this. It's like 5 different projects, and they'll do mine first, which I'm thankful for. But I'm still responsible for staying online while they discuss all the other ones, which has nothing to do with mine. So I fall asleep in the meetings. And then I wake up after everybody already left. I did that the other day. Luckily, it is not terribly comfortable sitting in my chair sleeping, so I don't sleep for long periods of time in my chair. It's more like short naps. In through that hole, go through the other hole. There. Yeah, these things are kind of cool. They come in 2 different sizes. You should have been here at the beginning. You could have watched me try to put one of the short ones in here. Yeah, it didn't fit. Too much leather. I struggled until Marcia says, "Hey, there's 2 sizes. Maybe you should try the long one," which fit like a charm. Usually I would have spent time going around and stitching it, and then I would be ripping stitches out. It'd be like this, and I would be ripping stitches out as I go. Yeah, I cleared it with Marcia to share her name before I did it, because if people send me stuff, I will give them credit for sending me stuff. I have nothing to hide, unless they don't want to be named. No, Lisa, nobody would ever do that. Are you going into a bad room? I mean, I know you're not in that room, are you? See, tell her if she wants people to believe her, she needs to show the receipts, show the papers with her name on them. Show, if she's going to show cancer scans, she needs to be showing her face. I mean, her name on that paper. Actual doctor's stuff, not stuff she's edited in Microsoft Word. Because, yeah, or Microsoft Paint. But yeah, they don't. I'm not blocking you. I don't delete your messages. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Anyway, I'm almost halfway finished with the top of this hat. Completely finished with this side of it, I should say. Because I started in the beginning, at the front of it. I need to quit wrapping my thread around the hat. Definitely did my thread a lot longer than needed. But like I said, I would rather have extras than not enough. When I'm doing a seam, I hate splicing thread. Interesting. Oh, I guess, yeah. Is it a moo or a moon? Oh, moon. See, I saw the MOO in all caps. Totally ignored the little N and the S. The back of this hat is almost as difficult as the front of the hat in getting these stitches in. Do it in two parts, that's fine. That works too. Accomplishes the same task. Yes, I know. And bold-faced, bald-headed liars are going to jail. I mean, going to hell. Just saying. Sure they did. Sure they did. Maybe I should contact them about someone falsifying information about them. Maybe I'll take some of those early videos and drop them to someone. Someone is calling my phone, but I can't see who it is because, well, I'm using my phone as a camera. Ouch. I just stabbed myself. See what I did? Just pull off that piece of skin. As long as it's not bleeding, I'm okay. Nope, it's not bleeding. I'm good. As long as I'm not putting blood on this. I'm doing this in 2 steps. This back piece is harder than the front. That's okay. I got this. And evidently, I've sewn through. It's not looped the thread. Which word, Sandra? What word did I say that was your least favorite word? You guys are crazy. Because I know sometimes I do have a very colorful vocabulary. Oh no, I'm not singing that. You will not hear me sing on this channel. I don't sing on the internet. I don't use derogatory terms towards other individuals on the internet. No, it is not. No one has frauded her of anything. No one has convinced her to sign over anything or give up money or anything else. Let's see how close I am to the center point. How many stitches am I going to stick to center? I'll go a little bit more. A little bit more before I stop. I'm going to stop a few stitch holes short of the center point, and I will leave my threads long because after I sew the other side, then I will clean up this back and I'll pull the cording out of part of this and I'll overlap it and put one over the other and basically make it as invisible as possible. Okay. That is just a couple shy of the center line. Cut my needles off the threads. And what I will do is I'll move that to the inside. Yeah. I love the masking tape that I use. It's a low tack masking tape. And one of the reasons why I use it specifically is it doesn't leave a sticky residue on leather. So I'm using it, like for here, I'm using it to hold those threads just out of my way. Just hold these threads here. And I'm covering up the whole thread so that I don't catch it with the needle or anything. While I finish off this other half, it is 8:45. I'm going to be leaving here in 15 minutes. But while I'm watching Tully's, I am going to sew from this center line around this side of it, and the top of it will be finished. And let me see what is the best way to put this so you can see it. And you can see how that shows through. From the underneath, you can see that. But just the nature of the shape of this piece with this piece, you can see how it pulls as compared to where it looks over here. It looks all just chaotic. It pulled a good shape out of it with that piping just hanging out. This is the piping that we laid out the other night when I glued the rope into it. And I went in last night and put the stitch holes right next to the rope that I put in there. And so that's when I stitch it, just that rope is showing. Just that edge with the rope on it is showing. That's not the way they originally do it on this one. The pattern for this one is they actually have a pattern piece like this, and they just cut out a piece of leather, thicker leather, and do it, but I don't like this method. It's not my preferred method. I prefer this method. I think this gives it a cleaner finished edge, a better look, a more professional look. And that's what I try to go for, is that professional look. You know, the inside, you can see the black leather in there. That's from the piping edge. I'm probably going to leave it unless I decide it doesn't look good. And then I'll go in and find a way to flip this and I'll trim it out. But more than likely, I'm just going to leave it in there because when it gets all put together, you're not going to see it. And I will hand stitch in my label after I finish sewing this around. I'll hand stitch in my label right here in the back on this back seam, inside of the back seam. I'll get my little other stitching needle out and do that and make that professional. Tully's, you need to drop your link if you're still paying attention. You see, that's just it, Marcia. I modify things all the time to make them a little, what I consider, neater. But I'm really liking this this look. It's it pulled it really snug. I'll have to brush it off when I'm done because it has little pieces of paper on it from where I've cut stuff, but it pulls it really snug so you can see the shape of it. It rounded off that edge. You got the nice piping there to finish it off. This has a nice shape to it. And so I'll finish sewing this tonight. I'll be back on Saturday and we'll sew this seam to this part. We will sew these two together. And then we will have a finished hat. I'll show it on this side. It looks better. Once I do that, we will have a finished hat. And I'm going to sew it like this, and there'll be a double stitch line here. Those will butt up really nice. And it's going to have a good shape because this leather has such good texture to it. Between the black layer and the green layer, it has enough body to it that it's just going to hold up on its own and have a really good shape. Okay, I don't think Lisa's paying attention. Let me go pull her. Get her link to her channel. After I leave here, I'm going to log off at 9 o'clock. Hello, Jennifer Mason. I am going to log off at 9 o'clock. And we are going to go over to Tully's in the Pod. She has her crystal sales tonight. And she has it set up. She's going on at 9:45. So when I log off, that gives everybody time to go grab a snack, grab a drink, go pay your water bill, as Rosie puts it. Hi, Free Spirit. And hang out there. I will work on this while I'm in there. I'm going to just sew this other edge. Since I've sewn this half, you saw how long it took. So I'll go ahead and sew this other edge, and then Saturday, we'll go on early on Saturday because I know Rosie does her lives on Saturdays and Sundays. I go on earlier in the day, and we'll sew up the rest of this hat and get it finished. And then I'll just have to do the top strap that'll go across it because these edges will curl some, and there'll be a strap holding it. Debating on what color that strap is going to be right now. So it might be black. I don't know. I'll have to see. You wonder if you're invited where? I have not set up my time yet. Oh, let me see. What time did I go on last time? I can't remember. But I think I will probably try to go on somewhere between noon and 2 o'clock. I'll figure it out before tomorrow night, and I'll set up those lives ahead of time and just do an earlier in the day stream and get that done. And, if nobody shows up for them, and I just keep stitching, that's fine. It'll be recorded and people can watch it at a later time. If you feel inclined to do so, please just, put my videos on and watch them because that watch time helps. It helps me. It gives my analytics, I get the watch time. I need more people to sub. I need watch time. And, I'm going to put out some shorts and see if I can increase my time on there and get more people to subscribe so that the channel can eventually become monetized. And maybe my leather crafting will actually truly support itself. because become self-sustaining. My family would appreciate that, but yeah. If you want to a commission for something, there is the ticker bar underneath that has my email address that is specifically for my leather work. Please use that to email me anything you wish for me to talk to you about making a commission on. I will not put up the vulgar hashtags that some other people use just to get people into my channel. Those are not the people I want in my channel. I am using actual hashtags according to what it is I'm doing. Wolves and lick, huh? Okay. We'll see about that, Lisa. But yeah. As I said, we're going to pop over to Two Leaves in a Pod. Let me see. Type that up. For some crystal sales. After this, she makes things out of resin. Lisa specifically makes things out of resin as well and posts them on her channel. I got some really cool stuff from her. And then she sells some awesome crystals, which I also have gotten from her. And her cousin Kendra also sells crystals and some things made from resin. And I've gotten a lot from her as well. Let's just say my house is kind of protected from evil spirits with all the crystals in it. I just now need to disperse them throughout the house. So I wish you all well. Thank you for coming. Please make sure you hit that thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. Click the little notification bell so that you are notified when I go on live. If you are compelled to do so, get other people to subscribe and watch. And watch and watch. Just watching the videos is good for the channel. It helps build up the analytics, as I said, and will help me eventually become monetized. So I appreciate you all and thank you again. And hopefully I'll see you over at Two Leaves in a Pod. Good night. See you on Saturday for my stream. And Get Swamped is Friday at 7. I do not have his link, as in I can go look for his link. I just realized I don't have his link handy. We go watch Get Swamped and buy stuff from over there as well to help support the animals. And that is on Friday at 7 p.m. Lisa's is Tuesdays for just gaming and stuff, and Thursdays for buying crystals. Rosie goes on 3 times a week. I think it's Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday. And we go chit chat in Rosie's room as well. I need to get Stacy's and Flutter's links. I need to create a link list of those who go live or who post videos so we can post all those up. And I will get that done for my next live. And I will talk to everyone later. See you at Two Leaves in a Pod. Bye.